Hello students and welcome to your today's lecture. Today we are going to begin the second chapter of Hornbill. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. It's written by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. So you can see how motivating the title of the chapter is. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So here this chapter is about a family who plans a world tour through sea route, and among them there is a 6-year-old child, a 6 years old boy, who says this line that he was not afraid to die if he was with his family, if his family was together, he was not afraid to die. So this sentence is very important. This spirit is very important actually in the whole chapter. Let's see. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan 6, daughter Suzanne 7, and I set sail from Plymouth, England to duplicate the round-the-world voyage sea route adventurous journey made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So narrator and his family, including his wife Mary, his 6-year-old son Jonathan, and his 7-year-old daughter Suzanne, they wanted to duplicate, they wanted to repeat a record made by Captain James Cook 200 years ago, that was round the world voyage, through sea route. For the longest time, Mary and I, narrator and his wife, who is narrator, a 37-year-old businessman, had dreamt of sailing in the wake of the famous explorer. In the wake of means to follow the famous explorer, and for the past 16 years we had spent all our leisure time, all our idle time, our free time honing means shaping or developing, honing our seafaring skills in British waters. So Mary and narrator wanted to do what James Cook had done, and since last 16 years they were utilizing their every inch of free time in honing, in shaping their seafaring skills. They wanted to do better and better in seafaring. Then they had a boat also for that tour, for that round the world voyage. Our boat, Wave Walker. So Wave Walker is the name of their boat. A 23 meter, 30 ton wooden hulled beauty. So the length was 23 meter, weight was 30 ton. It was a wooden decorated beauty, had been professionally built, and it was built by professionals so that they would have to remain in sea for many years, and they would have to face every kind of storm and weather. So the boat Wave Walker was built in that way, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. Narrator and his wife Mary, they spent months fitting it. They wanted to know each and everything about their boat, and they also tested this boat in the roughest weather they could find, so that if they face worst to worst situation, they should know how to handle that. The first part of our planned 3-year 105,000 kilometer journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. So their first part of their journey, the journey was planned for 3 years, and the distance was 105,000 kilometers. The first part passed pleasantly. There was no trouble at all. They started from the west coast of Africa and they came to Cape Town. There, before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen, American Larry Wiesel and Swiss Herb Sizzler, to help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the Southern Indian Ocean. Up to Cape Town, everything was all okay, and now they were heading towards Southern Indian Ocean, that is very popular because it is the roughest one. So they had 2 helpers with them, 2 crewmen with them, Larry, who belonged to America, Herb, who belonged to Switzerland. So please note down all the kind of MCQs you are going to find here in the chapter. In every chapter, MCQs are most important, especially in this time where your major part of the question paper will be based on the MCQs. So in each and every line you can find an MCQ. Prepare that. So they were heading towards the Southern Indian Ocean. So with them they had two crewmen, Larry and Herb. On our second day out of Cape Town, we began to face strong gales, strong winds. For the next few weeks, they refers to the strong gales. They blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming. So the wind was not so much a thing to worry for the narrator, but due to gales, the waves were increasing, the height of the waves was increasing. So that was alarming. Up to 15 meters, as high as our main mast, the main sheet which is there to cover the boat. Height of that main mast was 15 meters, and the height of the waves was actually 15 meters. So now if it will cross 15 meters, it could enter the boat. So that was the trouble, that was the thing which worried the narrator. December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. So they had been able to cover this distance. Despite atrocious bad weather, we had a wonderful holiday, complete with a Christmas tree. So they enjoyed their Christmas. New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather. From 25th to 31st to 1st of Jan, there was no improvement in the weather. The strong gales were there, and the waves were getting higher and higher. But we thought that it had to change soon. Okay, we logically knew that the weather should change now, and it did change, that for the worse. So they were expecting that the weather would change, but the weather changed in a bad way. At dawn, DAWN, dawn means the early morning time, on January 2, the waves were gigantic. The waves were very huge. We were sailing with only a small storm jib and were still making 8 knots, that is the speed. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless enormous seas rolling towards us. So due to the high waves, the ship was getting very higher, and whenever the ship rose to the top of each wave, they could see endless, they were at so much height that they could see that endless seas rolling towards them. And the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ears. The screaming of the wind and the spray, the waterfall was very painful to the ears, because it could lead to their death. So it was painful. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and tied a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. So stern is the main part of the boat. So they tied everything strongly with the mooring rope so that the ship gets slower in speed. Then we double tied everything, went through our life raft drill, life saving drills, attached lifelines, dawn means war, WORE, wore oilskins and life jackets, and waited. So they did whatever they could do to save their lives. As we go for river rafting or something like that, we are given those lifelines. So they were also wearing that lifelines and waited. They waited that the waves could enter the ship and they could be drowned. So they were getting ready for that. The first indication of approaching disaster came at about 6 p.m. So there was an indication that the weather was going to be even more worse. That was at 6 p.m. How? With an ominous silence, very strange, unlucky, you can say. So there is silence before storm, right? There is a very popular phrase too, तूफान के पहले की शांति. So there was actually everything was silent at 6 p.m. The wind dropped and the sky immediately grew dark. Okay, the wind stopped and the clouds covered the whole sky, and then came a growing roar, and an enormous cloud towered aft in the front of the ship. So there was a huge cloud in just front of the ship. With horror, I realized that it was not a cloud, but a wave like no other I had ever seen. So the narrator was horrified, and he realized that blackness was not actually of the cloud. That was a very deep, dark, very huge wave. The wave which narrator had never seen. It appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the height of the other waves, with a frightful breaking crest top. So the wave was so huge and the wave was almost twice than other waves. The roar increased to a thunder. After the cloud roaring, there was thundering. As the stern moved up the face of the wave, the front part of the boat was moving in just front of the wave. And for a moment, I thought we might ride over it. For a moment, the narrator thought that they could ride over that wave. But then a tremendous explosion shook the deck. A torrent, a flow of green and white water broke over the ship. So the wave had entered the ship with a huge sound. My head smashed into the wheel because of so much huge and heavy hit of the wave. Everything was smashed, everything was damaged on the boat. My head, narrator's head, smashed into the wheel, and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. Everything was getting drowned. The overboards and other things, everything was below the waves, everything was below the water. I accepted my approaching death, and I was losing consciousness. I felt quite peaceful. See, he was getting unconscious, he was losing consciousness. Everything is in our mind, everything is painful or happy only if we are in senses. Our senses, our mind works in the direction of this emotions. If we are unconscious, we do not feel anything and we do not get happy or upset. So the narrator was getting unconscious, so he also felt peaceful because he was getting unconscious. Unexpectedly, my head came out of the water. He did not expect it. He thought that now he was going to drown and he was going to die. But unexpectedly, his head came out of the water. A few meters away, Wave Walker was near capsizing, was near turning down. Okay, her masts almost horizontal. The main sticks which are there on the boat, those were getting almost horizontal. Then a wave hurried her upright. Luckily, another wave came, and the boat, which was just going to be upside down, which was just going to turn down in the water, another wave came and hurled her upright. Another wave came and made the ship right again. My lifeline jerked taut because he was wearing lifeline. So when he when he was falling or when he was changing his position, the position of the lifeline was also getting changed. I grabbed the guardrails and sailed through the air into the Wave Walker's main boom cabin. Subsequent following waves tossed me around the deck like a rag doll. So deck is the front part of the ship. There were so huge waves that narrator was you can say sailing through the air like a rag doll, like a doll which is very light. My left ribs cracked. There was injury in his narrator's left ribs. They were cracked. My mouth filled with blood and teeth were broken. Somehow I found the wheel, lined up the stern and for the next wave and hung on. So somehow he found the wheel to give the directions to the ship and to control it, and he lined up, he made the stern right for the next wave, and he was hanging onto the wheel because he could not stand in the water. The water was throwing him into the air, into the water. He was drowning, so he held the wheel so that he could hang on that. Water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below, but I did not have the courage, leave the wheel to investigate. If he would have left the wheel, he could have drowned. So he was just holding the wheel so that he could stand there, he could be saved. So he did not have any courage to leave the wheel and to see how much the boat was damaged. He could not do that. Suddenly, the front hatch was thrown open. Hatch is a kind of door of the cabin that was open, and Mary appeared. Mary is his wife. "We are sinking," she screamed. She shouted that they were sinking. "The decks are smashed. We are full of water." He said that some part of the boat was also smashed and they were full of water. So we'll see in the next video what happens with them and are they saved or not. pre-read the next text. It will be easier for you to understand that. Have a good day.